Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Sean Brady called Paulina Price-Carver at his house to reassure her before Chanel Dupree DiMera showed up wearing one of his t-shirts, according to the Wednesday, January 29 Days of Our Lives recap. After planting that kiss on Sean, Chanel acknowledged that things were unclear, so she inquired as to whether they shared a bed. They didn't, Sean said, adding that he had only brought Chanel to his house to get sober because she didn't want to attend Paulina's lecture. Chanel seems more open to possibly trying again with Johnny DiMera after Sean offered some marriage advice on Wednesday's Days show. Regarding Johnny, he informed Kristen DiMera that he was pleased to learn that Rachel Black had returned safely. Kristen thought her time with her mother was too short and taught Johnny about the Blake mansion in Armid. The woman in white called Rachel at the Blake residence during Wednesday's episode of Days and reassured her that Ava Vitali was doing well in captivity. Rachel returned her focus to attempting to bring her parents back together, but she soon saw that something was off. Brady Black played the interrupted voicemail that Ava had left him for Johnny and Kristen. The woman in white helped Rachel come up with a text message to Brady after Rachel phoned her again regarding the voicemail. The woman in white got the information she required when Ava pleaded for release so she could attend Trip Johnson's impending wedding in Hong Kong. Brady received a text from Ava's phone stating that she had just arrived in Hong Kong as he and Kristen were getting ready to take Rachel to therapy. Brady disclosed that because she didn't want to get involved in his relationship with Rachel, Ava had gone to stay there with Trip and Wendy Shin for a considerable amount of time. Brady stated that Ava was ending her relationship with him when Kristen inquired about it. On Wednesday's episode of Days, Rachel overheard the exchange in the foyer and congratulated herself on a job well done. Keep an eye out since our DOL forecasts indicate that Rachel's deceit will soon raise suspicions. Chanel discovered Johnny waiting for her when she returned to Paulina's flat. Johnny worried where Chanel had been and was happy to discover that she was all right. Chanel emphasized that she did not share a bed with Sean Brady, despite claiming to have spent the night at his house. Chanel acknowledged kissing Sean, but she reassured Johnny that he didn't return the kiss. Sean actually asked Chanel to pardon Johnny. Sean believed that Johnny and Chanel should pursue their marriage before it was too late, if there was any possibility at all that it might be preserved. As things began to warm up with Johnny, Chanel admitted that she believed Sean was correct. Belle Black and EJ DiMera argued till they went for round 2 under the covers after Belle Black woke up horrified next to him at Marlena Evans' townhouse. As EJ got ready to go, Belle and EJ decided that this would never happen again. Marlena entered abruptly since she wanted to bring Belle some coffee and believed she was alone. Marlena knew they had been hitting the covers the moment she saw EJ standing next to Belle, shirtless, beneath the comforter. Marlena questioned how Belle could prevent her from having sex under her house while still allowing her to have sex with such a wicked man once more. Brady had provided the images for the Rachel search, so Sean later brought several to the townhouse. Sean was horrified when he caught a sight of Belle in her robe next to EJ. Sean, however, said it was none of his business and hurried away. Although EJ wasn't welcome in her house, Marlena acknowledged that Belle's private life wasn't her concern either. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Marlena hopes Belle finds a better path soon. Stay tuned for any updates on any upcoming romance developments. According to Tuesday, January 28 spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Javi Hernandez was uncomfortable with Rafe Hernandez, also known as Arnold Feniger, because of his passion for bachelor parties and his apparent confusion about Javi's sexual orientation. Johnny DiMera informed EJ DiMera that he was en route to the pub for Rafe's bachelor party. As a result, EJ became anxious that Arnold may make a drunken mistake and chose to leave the party. Steve Johnson, who was taken aback by EJ's subsequent revelation, gave Johnny some love advice in the pub during Tuesday's episode of Days. Steve yelled at Rafe for taking a case without telling him because EJ pretended to seek an update on the Sloan Peterson hunt. False Rafe inquired as to whether Patchy was attempting to create a fight and appeared prepared for one, but Javi and the other partygoers defused the situation. In a private conversation, EJ cautioned Arnold to stay focused on the goal because Arnold's goal was to assist him in exacting revenge on Jada Hunter. Gabby Hernandez brought gelatin shots to Stephanie Johnson's house, which made Jada's bachelorette party more lively. Chanel Dupree DiMera, who had been sulking about Johnny around the apartment, was persuaded to attend the party by Paulina Price Carver. As they played a game, Chanel quickly became inebriated and yelled at all the DiMera men for being cheaters. Gabby and Belle both mentioned EJ as their most regrettable hookup in the Tuesday's Days episode. They all grabbed a rideshare to the pub after Stephanie finally decided they needed a change of scenery. Rafe's party with Sean Brady, Steve, EJ, Johnny, and Javi was cut short. Arnold and EJ became anxious when a female police officer showed there to arrest the groom for identity fraud. But in the end, the woman implied that Rafe was pretending to be a married man tonight while he was still unmarried. The fact that this woman was Savannah the stripper and that the entire police incident was a part of her performance became clear. Jada appeared and joined the other guests at Savannah's bachelorette party as she performed a lap dance for Rafe. Arnold maintained that he would prefer to have his future bride perform a lap dance, but Jada reassured Rafe that she didn't mind. Jada was eager to take Rafe home, but he claimed he had a room at the Salem Inn because they shouldn't meet before the wedding. They allowed passion to flare behind closed doors when Savannah the dancer later arrived at Arnold's hotel room after accepting his phone number. During Tuesday's episode of Days, Jada, who was intoxicated, exclaimed about Rafe's loyalty and expressed her excitement about becoming Mrs. Hernandez tomorrow. At the pub, Johnny attempted to strike up a conversation with Chanel, but she retaliated by smashing a bottle of beer. When Chanel departed, Sean offered to go after her since he was the only one who was totally sober. Chanel wanted to continue drinking and partying at small bar during Tuesday's DOL concert, so she asked Sean where the evening would take them and surprised him by kissing him. Belle became irate at EJ's treatment of her after Sammy Brady learned of their liaison since he insisted on taking her home. EJ asked whether it was the reason Belle pursued the DA position, and they argued before they started kissing. Steve followed up with Stephanie after she returned to her apartment after her breakup with Philip Kyriakis. Steve was confident that the right man was out there and predicted that he would one day escort Stephanie down the aisle, despite the fact that she was feeling rather defeated in her romantic endeavors. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives: keep checking back for updates on Stephanie and Alex Kyriakis' next romantic opportunity when it presents itself. Oh, I'm sorry. There are probably a few in each of our lives, and they almost always center on love. On today's episode of Days of Our Lives, we found out that one of Stephanie's greatest regrets was hooking up with Jeremy Horton. That name undoubtedly sounds familiar to you, but don't worry if you don't know all the information about him, we've got you covered. Since the odds were stacked against him from the beginning, it should come as no great surprise that Jeremy was among the more problematic Hortons. He was born off-screen in 1987 following Robin Jacobs' departure from Salem, without disclosing her pregnancy to her ex-boyfriend Mike Horton.